Your Honor, the jurors are in the courtroom.
You may be seated. Welcome back. I hope you had a good lunch. All right, state you may call your next witness.
Dr. Eric Cury, Your Honor.
Hey, Doctor. You favor just standing? Raise your hand.
You swear affirm to tell the whole truth. I do. All right, next seat.
What's your step?
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Will you state your name and spell it for the court reporter and the jury, please?
Dr. Erica Cury, Ericacury.
And Dr. Cury, are you a licensed medical doctor?
I am.
In what state?
Tennessee, Arkansas, New Mexico, Texas, Illinois previously, and those are the ones I can think of right now.
Okay. And how long have you been a medical doctor?
For going on 14 years. Well, in forensic pathology. I graduated medical school in 2005, and technically I was a medical doctor then, so if you want to say 20 years, but in forensic pathology, 14 years.
And that was, do you specialize in any particular field of medicine?
Yes, so my first specialization was in pathology, which is commonly known as the study of disease. So we're probably commonly known as the doctors that if you go get something taken out during surgery or biopsy, and they say they send it to the lab for the doctor to look at, that's us as pathologists. So after receiving specialization and board certification in pathology, and then I received certification in forensic pathology, which is basically doing autopsies to determine the cause of death, meaning why somebody died and the manner of death, which we have 5 categories of.
And approximately how many autopsies have you done during your career?
About greater than 2,200.
Have you testified as an expert in courts in Tennessee prior to this?
Yes.
Other states as well?
No, just primarily Tennessee.
Just primarily Tennessee. Do you know how many times approximately?
Greater than 50.
Your Honor, the state moves that Dr. Cury be declared an expert in the field of forensic pathology.
No objection, Your Honor.
Would declare Dr. Erica Cury as an expert in the field of forensic pathology.
On April 5th of 2019, where were you employed?
At the West Tennessee Regional Forensic Center, also known as the Shelby County Medical Examiner's Office.
And did you perform an autopsy that day on an individual named Brous Perry?
Yes.
Can you explain to the jury what an autopsy is, kind of what's involved and what the purpose of an autopsy is?
So if someone is deemed what's called under medical examiner jurisdiction, which is classified as unexpected or violent death, they are brought into the medical examiner's office for an examination. And then whether an just inspection of the body or complete autopsy is determined, whether either one of those is needed. When they come in, they're given a unique identifying number, which is the year, and we start from 1 all the way to the last day of the year at whatever that number is. Then we're examine the deceased person. We examine the outside of the body. We take whatever necessary evidence there is, clothing, fingernail clippings, hair. Then we do x-rays if needed, especially in the case of homicide. And then we document everything we see on the outside of the body, the hair color, the eye color, weight, the length, any scars, any tattoos, and certainly any injuries. And we document those often on what's called a body diagram, which is just a representation of the human body. So then after we do that, then we examine everything on the inside of the body to document any injuries and look at all the organs and document any injuries we see on the organs and the weight of any natural disease we see on the organ. During that process, we actually take blood and other samples to send off to the toxicology lab to test for substances that were in the body at the time the person died. So then after we make those notes, and then we put together a report documenting everything we found.
And did you give the autopsy that you performed on Brous Perry a number?
Yes.
And what number was that?
It's 2019-0582.
And did you took photos? I guess you said you would take photos. In this particular autopsy, did you take photos?
Photos were taken by the autopsy assistant that helps you, or technician that helps.
Can you describe to the jury the injuries that you, if any, that you found when you performed this autopsy on Mr. Perry?
Yes, I'm going to refer to my notes. So, Mr. Perry had a gunshot wound of the head. It entered on the right side of the head. It fractured a bone close by where it entered, and then it also fractured the bone of his right eye, and then it also caused some injuries to the brain, and then it traveled into the mouth where it injured the tongue, and then the bullet went through the left side of his jaw and injured the jawbone. And then the bullet lodged on the left side of his jaw and then created a wound right under or right above where it lodged, which was what I termed a partial exit wound, meaning the bullet didn't go completely out. And then he had 3 gunshot wounds of his abdomen on the right upper portion. Those went into his abdomen or stomach cavity, injured his intestines and his liver, and then it also injured his right adrenal gland, which is a organ, an endocrine organ that sits above the kidney, and then it completely made his right kidney go into 2 halves. Those are the injuries that happened on the abdomen, and then there were 3 bullets recovered associated with those gunshot wounds, 1 in the spine, 1 from the back, and 1 from his left hip. And then he had a gunshot wound that was on his right buttock, and then it went into the soft tissue and most of the right buttock, causing hemorrhage, and then it traveled into his right side of his lower back, where a bullet was recovered from there. And then he had a graze wound, just meaning the bullet went past the skin and didn't go into the body. He had one of those on his right upper arm and then one on the front of his left wrist.
Can hand you a picture and ask you if you can identify that, please.
Yes, I can.
And is that a photo you took of one of the wounds you just described to the jury?
It was a photo taken at the time of autopsy, not by me, but the autopsy technician, but yes, of the wound of the head.
And does that accurately depict what you observed while taking that autopsy, while performing that autopsy?
Yes.
Judge, I would ask that be marked next exhibit, please.
No objection. We'll show Exhibit 15 as a photo of a wound of the head.
And may I publish that for the jury, please?
Yes.
So what we're looking at there, you described that as, if I understood your testimony correctly, that was the entrance wound that went all the way across down through his jaw and almost came down the other side. Is that correct?
That's correct.
So let me hand you another picture and ask you if you can identify that.
Yes, this is a picture of the deceased's face, and you can see that wound on the left side of his jaw where the bullet almost came out, but the bullet is actually underneath it.
Can I make that next exhibit, please, Your Honor?
No objection. We'll show it as a photo of the wound on the left side of the jaw.
And may I publish that, Your Honor?
Yes.
And so that's the photograph you just identified, is that correct?
That's correct.
And again, you described it as a partial exit wound, meaning the bullet is still there, but the injury that we see is where the bullet almost exited the body. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And you.
Yes, this is a picture of the entrance gunshot wound that was on the right buttock.
Judge, I would ask that to come next exhibit, please.
No objection. We'll mark Exhibit 17 as the entrance of the wound to the right buttock.
And if I may publish that.
Yes.
And so is this the picture that you just identified, Dr. Curry?
Yes.
And that entered, stayed in the body, and you recovered that bullet from while performing the autopsy?
That's correct.
And you. Can you identify that photo?
Yes, this is a picture of the deceased's right arm and kind of the right side of his chest and abdomen. It's picturing the graze wound, or the wound where the bullet went by the skin and didn't actually go in, of his right upper arm, and you can also see 2 of the gunshot wounds that are on his abdomen.
And may I publish that? Oh, I want to make that the next exhibit, please, Your Honor.
No objection. We'll mark Exhibit 18 as a photo of the wound to the right arm and right part of his chest.
And may I publish that, Your Honor?
Yes.
And I think, Dr. Curry, when that printed, it cut off actually a little bit of that. Is this the photo that you just identified?
With 1 extra wound, yes.
Yeah. So the 3 that we see, the 4, 2, and the one below the 2, are those the 3 wounds that you talked about, the 3 bullets that went into the abdomen?
Yes, should be number 2, 3, and 4, yes.
Okay.
Mm,
And then 6 is one of the 2 graze wounds that you testified about.
that's correct.
So you recovered the bullet from the head, you recovered those 3 from the abdomen,
Yes.
and you recovered the one from the back,
Buttock, yes.
From the
Yeah,
buttock.
yeah, the bullet it came from the back, but it's corresponding to the bullet that entered on the right buttock.
And I have one more photo, which is the, well, I'll let you tell us what it is.
Yes, it's a picture of the graze wound that was on the front of his left wrist, yes.
I'd like to make that the next exhibit, Your Honor.
No objection. Show exhibit 19 is a graze wound on the left wrist.
And may I publish that for the jury?
Yes.
And Dr. Cury, is this the photo that you just identified?
Yes.
And tell us what happens when you recover evidence, or in this case particularly bullets, while performing the autopsy.
So they're packaged in a sealed evidence envelope. I initial and date them, and then they're put together with other evidence that we take at the time of autopsy: clothing, fingernail clippings, hair, and any of the other evidence we take. And then they're logged and then placed into our the evidence room at the West Tennessee Regional Forensic Center, and eventually picked up by the investigating police agency.
Hand you, and you'll have to open this. This is still sealed. I'm going to ask you if you can open that and identify the contents of that package.
Yeah, these are the bullets that were recovered from the deceased at the time of the autopsy in the sealed evidence envelopes, still with the seal tag, the date, and my initials.
And there's 5 total of those.
Yes.
Judge, I would ask that those 5 be made collectively an exhibit, the bullets recovered during the autopsy.
Your Honor, I think these have all been already marked as Exhibit 6.
Oh, that may be true.
Stay on.
Okay, all right, perfect. Thank you. Of those wounds, were any of them or all of them fatal on their own, or was it a combination, or can you testify to that?
So the ones in the head and the abdomen certainly were very significant wounds, in my opinion, that would have led directly to death. The one in the right abdomen, because it mostly just caused hemorrhage, where the trachea went through, wouldn't have been fatal, in my opinion.
And so, based on your expertise and your examination during that autopsy, were you able to form an expert opinion concerning the cause and manner of death?
Yes.
And what was that?
Multiple gunshot wounds.
And the manner of death?
Homicide, which for forensic terms means death at the hands of another.
That's all the questions I have.
Cross-examination.
Thank you, Your Honor. Good afternoon, Dr. Curry.
Good afternoon.
Don't have many questions for you, but I have a couple, okay?
Sure.
First, just kind of going from what you just said, homicide. In your profession, I can never say this word, that is an epidemiological assessment, right?
That's correct.
What does that mean?
For once we fill the death certificate and it has the cause and manner of death, it is analyzed in this state, by the state of Tennessee, by the statistics in order to, run the numbers of the different categories of death.
So a category of death could be homicide,
Yes,
could be suicide,
that's correct.
could be natural.
That's correct.
Are there any others?
Yes, it is natural, then accident, and then could not be determined or undetermined.
Okay. So when you determine that something is a homicide, that is not an indication of criminal intent, right?
Not from a forensic pathologist standpoint, that's correct.
So when you say homicide, you do not, that does not equal premeditated murder.
No,
That equals more than one person was involved.
that equals for us that the death occurred at the hands of another person.
Okay. So nothing about your assessment gives any assessment to Ms. Daniels' mindset.
That's correct.
Okay. I want to talk to you about each of the individual shots briefly, okay? And you have your report. You have them labeled A, B, C, D, E.
That's correct.
And you also have numerical designations.
That's correct.
For each, for A, do you have an A1? Is that kind of how that works, that you?
So the numerical is for picture taking purposes and to be able to refer to them in the report. And then the alphabetical is just the way I notate the report is just described from the top of the head to the bottom of the feet. So it's just the ordering system.
And the numbers and letters that you assign to it don't have any bearing on the order in which those injuries occurred.
That's correct.
So on gunshot wound A, that was the gunshot wound to the head.
That's correct.
And 1 would be the entrance wound.
That's correct.
And 2 would be the exit wound.
Well, in this case,
Well-
5 was the exit wound on this one because because of just the way the ordering went with
Okay.
this one.
And so the entrance wound was about here, right?
Yes.
And the exit wound was about here.
Well, yeah, where the bullet almost went out, so
Right.
call it a partial, but yes.
So when you have these 2 points,
Mhm.
you're able to determine a trajectory.
That's correct.
What is a trajectory?
So just the way the bullet traverses inside or on the body once it enters and then through and exits. So
The trajectory, when you make your trajectory assessments, you base it on anatomical position, right?
yes.
What does that mean?
So just basically it is, and we do this just to standardize the way we notate injuries. Basically it's the representation of the human body with someone standing with their palms facing up. So standing facing you with
So,
their, yes.
like this?
Yes.
This would be the anatomical position. In reality, when things are actually happening, this is very rarely the position in which people were, right?
We, like I said, do that to standardize, but we do realize that when people are injured, that's not all the time the way they are positioned. So yes,
And the trajectory of the bullet is determined by the position of the decedent's body and the position of the person with the gun, right?
yes,
So if I'm shooting you right here, you're not, and you're looking at me just like this, you would have a gunshot wound right here and it would go pretty straight through your back, right?
yes,
Whereas if I'm standing on your side, same thing, right?
yes.
And if you lean over, that's going to change.
That's correct.
If you lean over or back, it's going to give an upward or downward deviation.
Can, yes.
Okay. So when we look at gunshot wound A, you noted a trajectory on that of being right to left,
Yes,
and that's indicating his right side to his left side.
that's correct.
Downward,
Yes,
so that, and slightly back to front.
correct.
So you cannot say that he was standing here like this when that kind of angle is involved,
That's
right?
correct.
Would that kind of angle be consistent with someone falling?
If their head was going downward and the bullet was traversing downward, that, in my opinion, would be consistent with
So if
that.
you had this angle and they're falling,
If the gun, well, you have to tell me the position of the gun, because I'm not certain on the position of the gun. So,
can that kind of downward angle be created by someone falling? Can that be consistent?
it could be.
It could also be consistent with having an upward angle. It just depends on how the body's positioned.
Well, from the trajectory, it's traversing downward, so once again, I would have to know where the gun was in relation to the body to
Yes.
say that. Yes, sir.
Okay, and so one of the things that you also looked at was soot, stippling, and muzzle imprint, right?
That's correct.
And on every one of these gunshot wounds, there was no soot, stippling, or muzzle imprint.
That's correct.
So let's take each of those individually. What is soot?
So soot is the black material that comes out of the end of the gun.
Okay. And that is something that you can use to make a distance determination between the person and the muzzle of the gun, right?
We can estimate, yes.
Okay. And that's usually for soot about, what, 4 feet? Four or more, 4 feet
For
soot.
For soot to be around the wound, as
Yes.
you're asking, it would have to be a close range gunshot wound, which means inches, close or inches. For
So-
soot to be around the wound.
Okay. I'm sorry, I jumped ahead of you. This is the 4 feet stippling.
No.
Now, tell me which one is the 4 feet.
So if there's lack of soot and if there's lack of stippling, then from measurements and previous studies, then we can say that the gunshot wound is indeterminate or distant, and we have to be sure with indeterminate that there was nothing blocking the soot from getting onto the body. And if we exclude that, then we say distant, and that means that from when the gun was fired to hitting the body, there was 3 feet or greater distance between.
So the 3 feet or greater, that's the indeterminate.
Yes.
And that determination, 3, 4 feet, whatever, it also depends on what type of weapon is being used.
That's correct.
Right? So if you have soot, stippling, muzzle imprint, you're within that 3 foot.
Right. And to your point, the only way to know exactly is to actually test fire the gun with the ammunition that was used, and we would know specifically, accurately what it would be.
And the muzzle imprint, that would be an actual contact wound,
That's
right?
correct.
And none of those things were present here.
That's correct.
So the indications by what you saw is that the muzzle of the gun was 3 feet or more away from Mr. Perry.
That's correct.
The 2 graze wounds that you indicated, I wanted to talk to you about those briefly, okay? Typically, particularly with the position of the graze wounds, those do not necessarily indicate separate shots, right?
That's correct.
Especially that one on the right side,
Yes.
it is most likely a graze wound of one of the entrance or entrance.
Yeah, I can't say most likely, but it's a possibility that
It's consistent with that.
it could be from one of the entrances on the abdomen.
Okay, and then on direct, you were discussing whether any of these on their own would have been fatal.
Yes.
And I'm trying to make sure I heard you correctly. You indicated that the head wound and one of the abdominal wounds, I thought you said could have been fatal on their own.
So the head wound and the abdominal wounds, because they were grouped together as a cluster because they commingled, all of those would have been fatal. The one on the buttock, in my opinion, would not have been fatal.
Okay, and the one of the abdomen ones that was pretty shallow.
Well, no, they all entered into the abdominal cavity. So
There were 3 in the abdomen, right?
that's correct.
I thought you indicated 2 of the ones I thought you said 2 of the abdominal shots could have been fatal, 1 of them no.
No, all 3 could have been, because they all entered into the abdominal cavity, all caused injuries that in the intestine and the liver and the kidney. So they all 3 caused the injuries inside.
Are all of those necessarily fatal?
Because I couldn't tell this bullet hit this specifically, this bullet hit that one specifically, then I couldn't say that, these 2 didn't, these 2, that's why they're grouped together, because when they got inside the body, they
Okay, I understand what you're saying a little bit better now.
Yes.
Thank you.
Mm.
Excuse me. A wound to the kidney is not necessarily fatal, right?
In this instance, it is, because it made the kidney go into 2 halves.
Okay.
That now you do have another kidney, but the bleeding from that, having one of your kidney being 2 halves, is pretty devastating.
And this is a question, I don't know the answer to it.
Right.
With these injuries, would, prompt and appropriate medical attention, could that make it not fatal? Is it fatal just because of the injury, or is it fatal untreated?
So he did have medical attention and did have attempted surgery, because there were some surgery inside of his intestine, and they weren't able to revive him from that.
But you were able to tell that they did try
Yes.
medical intervention?
They definitely.
Which would indicate when he got to the hospital, he was alive?
Yes.
Okay. And nothing about your assessment can go to intent or type of homicide, right?
That's correct.
That's all I have.
No question.
That's it. We are at a good stopping point for the day. So I'm going to excuse you for the day. I'm going to say my speech, my broken record speech. We're still not ready to discuss the case, okay? So we're going to show you excuse for the day. We're going to come back in the morning, get a good night's rest, enjoy dinner, and we'll see you back tomorrow.
Judge, be sure to leave your hands in the chair for me.
We'll come back in the morning at 9:30. I might do have to do some arraignment, so when we take a break, I have to take care of those. But we'll come back in the morning at 9:30, and then you only have one more witness.
I only have one more witness, Judge.
One more
Yeah.
witness, and so Vince has the group have that ready tomorrow morning as well.
Yes, Your Honor. We do anticipate proof. We anticipate 3 to 4 witnesses.
Okay. All right, so I will adjourn court for the day. I'll see you in the morning.
All rise. Court's adjourned tomorrow morning, 9:30 for trial.